What if the house didn't always win? In 1993, a crew of misfits broke into a Las Vegas casino vault, walked away with millions, and vanished into the desert night, until one bloody mistake brought the whole game crashing down. This is the heist that shook Sin City. Meet Danny Ace Russo, a 35-year-old ex-con with a gambler's grin and a mind sharper than a dealer's cut. In 1993, Danny was a Vegas regular, not the high-roller type, but the guy who knew every backroom poker game and every bouncer's blind spot. Born in a rough Brooklyn neighborhood, he'd landed in Nevada a decade earlier, chasing the neon promise of Sin City. Prison had hardened him 3 years for boosting cars, but it also taught him patience and planning. To his crew, Danny was the mastermind, the one who could spot a flaw in any system. He wasn't in it for fame. He wanted the score that had let him disappear for good. Danny wasn't alone. His team was a ragtag bunch. Maria Sparks Lopez, a wiry electrician who could hotwire anything. Tommy Knuckles Hayes, a hulking ex-boxer with fists like sledgehammers, and Eddie Ghost Chan, a quiet safecracker who'd once worked for a locksmith syndicate. They met in a dive bar off the Strip, bonded over cheap whiskey and a shared dream. One big job to beat Vegas at its own game. Danny had been casing the Desert Rose Casino for months, a mid-tier joint with a vault packed with cash from weekend gamblers. His plan? Slip in, crack it, and slip out before the slots stopped spinning. To the outside world, Danny was just another washed-up hustler, his leather jacket stained with cigarette smoke. But beneath the swagger, he burned with ambition. He'd tell Maria late at night, "This is our ticket out, no more scraping by." His crew trusted him. Not because he was charming, but because he'd never left a man behind. On June 12, 1993, they gathered in a motel room, maps spread across a wobbly table, ready to pull off the heist of their lives. Danny's last words before they rolled out? "We're not just taking the money, we're taking Vegas." It's the summer of 1993, and Las Vegas is a glittering beast in the Nevada desert. The Strip glows with neon. Casinos like the Mirage and Caesar's Palace rake in millions, while smaller joints like the Desert Rose thrive on tourists too drunk to count their chips. This is Sin City at its peak, a playground of excess where money flows like water and dreams die faster than a losing streak. The air smells of cigarette smoke and desperation. The night's alive with slot machine jingles and the clink of ice in highball glasses. Beyond the lights, the desert stretches endless and unforgiving. A perfect place to vanish or to bury a secret. The Desert Rose wasn't the flashiest spot, but it had a reputation. Tucked off Fremont Street, it drew a mix of locals, truckers, and weekend warriors chasing cheap thrills. Its vault held cash, unmarked bills from blackjack tables and slots, guarded by a single steel door and a lazy security crew. Vegas in '93 was booming, but cracks showed. Mob influence lingered, cops were overstretched, and casino owners cut corners on tech. It was the tail end of an era before cameras watched every angle, before vaults went digital. For a crew like Danny's, it was the perfect mark. Crime wasn't new to Vegas. Heists happened, small-time stick-ups, rigged games, but a vault job was rare, ballsy. The city thrived on its image. You could lose your shirt, but the house always won. Danny's plan threatened that myth. On June 12th, the heat hit 105 degrees Fahrenheit, tempers flared, and the Desert Rose buzzed with a Saturday crowd. Outside, the desert loomed, sand dunes and Joshua trees hiding 1,000 escape routes. For Danny and his crew, Vegas wasn't just a city. It was a battlefield, and the vault was the prize they'd bleed for. The heist kicked off at 2 a.m., when the Desert Rose was loudest, drunks shouting, slots ringing, perfect cover. Danny's crew slipped in through a service door Sparks had rigged earlier, her hands steady with a spliced wire. Ghost cracked the vault's lock in under 10 minutes, his tools clicking like a metronome while Knuckles kept watch, sweat beading on his brow. Inside, they hit the jackpot. Duffel bags stuffed with $2.3 million in cash, more than they dreamed. Danny grinned, whispering, "We're legends now." They were out in 20 minutes, melting into the night, tires screeching toward the desert. No alarms, no chase at first. Trouble brewed by dawn. A janitor found the service door ajar, tripped the silent alarm, and cops swarmed the casino. The vault was empty, security tapes blank. Sparks had fried the system. Vegas PD was furious. A heist this clean meant pros. Danny's crew split up as planned. Maria and Tommy took a stash to a safe house in Henderson, while Ghost and Danny headed west with the bulk. But the desert wasn't kind. At a gas station 50 miles out, Ghost got sloppy, paid with a blood-stained $20 bill from the vault bag. The clerk, a nosy ex-con, called it in. By noon, the manhunt was on. Choppers buzzed overhead, highway patrol locked down I-15, and the crew's dream unraveled. Danny cursed Ghost's mistake, but the real blow came when Knuckles panicked, ditched his share in a dumpster and bolted, leaving a trail of bills for cops to find. Maria stayed cool, hiding with Tommy, but Danny and Ghost were cornered near Barstow. A standoff loomed. 2 men, a stolen van, and a fortune in cash against a growing army of badges. The conflict wasn't just the law closing in. It was the crew cracking under pressure, their perfect plan bleeding out in the desert sun. The net tightened on June 13th, 36 hours after the heist. Danny and Ghost holed up in an abandoned motel off I-15. The cash piled in the back of their van like a taunting mirage. Helicopters thumped overhead, dust swirling as SWAT rolled in. Danny clutched a pistol, Ghost a crowbar, outgunned, outnumbered, but not out of fight. Radio chatter crackled with their names, pieced together from the gas station tip and Knuckles' dumpster trail. At 3 p.m., a bullhorn blared. "Come out, Russo. It's over." Danny spat, "Not yet," and fired a warning shot. The standoff lasted 2 hours. Bullets pinging off rusted walls, tear gas choking the air, until Ghost took a slug to the shoulder, blood soaking the floor. Back in Henderson, Maria and Tommy watched the news, hearts sinking. Knuckles had turned himself in, spilling enough to damn them all: names, the safe house, everything but the cash's exact spot. Cops raided Maria's hideout that night, catching Tommy mid-escape. She slipped out a window, vanishing with $500,000. Danny, cornered, made a call. Torch the van, burn the money, leave no prize for the law. Flames roared as he dragged Ghost out, surrendering under a haze of smoke. The $1.8 million they'd hauled went up in ashes. Vegas PD's victory tasted like defeat. The trial hit in '94. Danny got 20 years, Ghost 15. Knuckles cut a deal for 5, singing like a canary. Evidence piled up. The bloody bill, Knuckles' stash, charred van wreckage. Maria stayed a ghost. Rumors put her in Mexico, sipping tequila with the last of the loot. The desert rose tight in security, but its rep took a hit. Gamblers whispered about the crew who dared to win. Danny's defiance, burning the cash, made him a legend, even behind bars. The climax wasn't just the bust. It was the moment Sin City learned it could bleed. The Vegas vault heist left scars. Danny Russo served his time in silence, paroled in 2013, a gray-haired shadow, disappearing into obscurity. Ghost recovered, got out in '08, and faded, some say to Reno, others to a bottle. Knuckles walked free in '98, but didn't last, found dead in a ditch 2 years later. A junkie's end. Maria Lopez became the mystery, never caught, her name a whisper among Vegas hustlers. The Desert Rose patched its vault, added cameras, but the sting lingered. It shut down in 2001, a relic of a wilder era. The $2.3 million? Half burned, half lost. Maria's cut the only piece unaccounted for. Vegas changed after '93. Casinos doubled down on tech, eyes everywhere, vaults like fortresses. The heist became lore, a cautionary tale for dreamers and thieves alike. Old-timers at the bar still argue. Was Danny a genius or a fool? Burning the cash won him respect, but cost him freedom. The crew's story hit books, a B-movie in '99, Vault Breakers, glossing over the blood for Hollywood shine. For the cops, it was a win with an asterisk. They'd caught the men, not the myth. The desert kept its secrets. That motel off I-15 stands empty, a charred skeleton where Danny's dream died. Some say Maria's out there, living quiet with her haul. Others swear she's dust in the sand. The heist didn't just rob a casino, it robbed Vegas of its invincibility. Crime Chronicles dug into this one because it's more than a caper. It's a mirror to the greed and guts that built Sin City. Danny's last laugh was the fire. The house didn't win after all. What's left? A legend, a lesson, and a question. Who else is out there, planning the next big score? Can you outsmart Vegas, or will the desert claim you too? Subscribe to Crime Chronicles for more tales of crime and chaos. Share your heist theories with #CrimeChronicles, because the next big score might be yours to crack.